We're not going to talk about drowning anymore.
No, we're recording.
Because we are live.
Right now?
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah.
It's also
United.
Also live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube?
Yeah.
Now that you told me that we can't, now that you told me you can't, I'm like, it's like
really live on
exploding in me.
We were live on YouTube last time I was here doing the podcast. Yeah. It's a new thing.
Hey, welcome to another Corner Conversation.
Live on YouTube.
Yeah, this one's different. We're taking a break from our series.
Yeah, we're stepping out of First Peter. We have a United service this
Siri
Sunday.
thought I said Siri, not series.
We have a United service, so once a season we bring all of our communities together for one combined service, and it is a little bit of reunion, a lot of it's like the quintessential United service moment is when Noelle is meeting people as they walk up. Noelle is a part of our community, and just as she exemplifies what it is to love people, to care for people, she just has something. And so when you see somebody walk up and she gives them a hug, it's beautiful. So that's it.
I think this is my favorite United service.
The beach one?
I just like it. We get to eat food.
A little bit of convo, a lot of bit of pancakes.
I'm pretty sure we eat at every United service.
Yeah, but we're making it there. I feel like if you make food and bring it somewhere else, it might as well just be leftovers.
I'm excited about pancakes. I always like Krusty's pancakes. They're always good. Are you ready? But I think, just thinking about our conversation today, we've been a little bit of ambiguous in what we're going to talk about today, but I do think that a cultural thing, maybe in church world, maybe all around, but I think the value of being together, there was like a huge swing in the world a couple years ago to defame that being together wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah. Weird.
COVID's, but
I think it is a bigger deal now than I did before that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The thing is pretty bizarre Amber, my wife's work world, and just thinking about the offices that are in all of our communities that are still sitting pretty empty. We're in one right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a mentality that still is like struggling with, do we really need to get together? Is collaboration really a thing? And I think that like collaboration and body of Christ is actually like they hold hands really, really well. And it's like, let's just all be working on the same thing and never be together. I think has some cost.
Yep. I think it has some cost even in the like just business realm. Like, you're going to waste so many hours because someone else could have done it better, quicker than you, and you have to do it by yourself.
I think
it's not purely just an efficiency thing either.
No, it's not.
If I'm doing something I like, I can do it by myself all the time. I actually kind of prefer it sometimes.
Where'd Craig go? He's doing things he likes.
It's true. But like if I'm doing something that's very hard for me or very taxing or something like that, if I'm just in pain, I want other people to be there with me. So there's the efficiency. Not everyone's like that.
There's efficiency. There's also like help in the hard. And also I think that a huge thing about it is like the collaborative creativity is really, really hard to like plan. And, you take the office world and you just go, in a line at a cafeteria or on the way to go get coffee or at the proverbial water cooler or whatever. Like that moment when you go, have you been thinking about what are we going to do about that? And it's not on a Zoom call or whatever. Do you want to see Greg get really twitchy? Say, let's have a Zoom call.
I don't like him.
But
I don't like him.
And then one other thing too that just is in it is that the value of just like maybe it's inefficient, but it's so important. And maybe it's outside of creativity, just liking other people, how much that impacts. I mean, you can call it the work, but just like being, if you don't feel like people or like them,
Yeah, I think when we built a coffee shop and we didn't like any of the people we were building a coffee shop with, it would be miserable. But
Yeah.
it's better.
Yeah.
Like here, when we had handfuls of church people show up, and like it was so fun.
Yeah.
It would have been miserable. I didn't even mind rolling my ankle. It was fine. I minded later.
Yeah.
I was by myself when it happened, though. That's fine.
I also think that there's a safety in being alone. It's kind of like, at least a perceived, like, it's so vulnerable to be in connection relationship with people, and I know I won't be rejected if I'm alone, and I know that I won't be unresponded to, or living life in that degree of safety has huge cost. Relationship with people, or initiating relationship with people, is risky. I'm very glad that I'm not single, because I would hate to have to meet people in that type.
Just moving in the van to the woods.
But outside of just like a whatever romantic type of relationship, meeting people, building relationship is really, really vulnerable, and some of the safety that has been, I don't know, maybe this is jumping in a different direction, but like, it's kind of nice to not have to need anybody, and then dismissing the cost of not having to need anybody or depend on anybody.
A part of the reason I like playing sports is because I feel like in order to start a relationship, somebody has to put themselves out there to some degree.
Yeah.
And doing that in a context of just a conversation, I find very difficult. Like, I don't really know how to do that well.
Mm-hmm.
You're very good at that, Scott. You are able to like put your personality out there, and that builds that connection. But like, there's something about performing in front of people for the first time that is putting yourself in that uncomfortable situation that allows that relationship to happen. And so I think in order to like start any relationship, somebody at some point has to put themselves, be vulnerable to some degree, whether that is, putting on a performance, whether it's playing a sport, something they're performing, putting themselves out there in a way that, could, be vulnerable.
It is. I think some of the challenge in what you say, though, is that all of us have different temperaments and personalities and how that happens. And so I think maybe we're in less of a culture that like jumps up and down on introvert or extrovertism. Have we moved on from that? Or is that still a thing? I just think that some of those things, some of the personality things can be an excuse. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just not somebody who can start new friends or whatever. I've talked about this many times in corner church history, is that it's really, really easy to say the last time I made a new friend was when I went to college and I was a freshman during orientation. And then beyond that, I think it's pretty easy for people to go decades with like, I have what I have, and I haven't made any new friends or connections.
Well, what changes from? It seems like kids can make friends fairly easy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not all, but it seems easier. And then as you go older, a lot of your friendships are friendships that you've had a long time.
Yeah.
Had a long time. Childhood friendships, stuff you go back to. So what changes in a person when they go? What changes from that childhood, easy to make friends, to adulthood where it's not?
I mean, my kind of rehearsed answer is it's discretionary time and forced proximity. That's so you're in school, you have quite a. Generally, when you're in school, you say, "Oh, it's so busy, it's killing me." It's not actually true. There's times when discretionary times will be less, and you're also forced to have. Every year you put into a different group or different class, different thing, and so that's great fuel. I mean, there's absence of insecurity, new situation. All these things are things that are part of it. But I think that when somebody starts a new job and they are forced to be in an office and they sit next to somebody every day, and there's some degree of discretionary time, I think relationship comes out of that. And when you become an adult, you can be like, and become an adult in a, like, this is not an anti-work from home thing, but you become an adult and you say, well, I don't really have any proximity with anybody. I never see any of my neighbors, and I'm either working all the time or hiding all the time. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. I almost feel like there has to be some level of shared thing that shared interest or shared thing you're working on together or something like that. Like school's so good for kids because whether it's sports or a class, like they have something that they're working on together, and so they're side by side. But it's not just this like we have to be.
Maybe not even the same, but even a shared struggle, or shared experience, is a big deal in that.
I just don't feel like we give adults that opportunity very often.
But I think there's also that feeling that we have to have it all together because we're adults now.
Yeah.
Kids, it's like, I don't have to have it all together. I'm a kid. Like, you just do.
Well, it goes back to that vulnerability.
Yeah.
It's very easy to be vulnerable as a kid.
Yeah.
Very hard when you're expected or feel like you have expectations on you.
When our daughters were young, we would do all the time. We would do the playground tour. We would bike from downtown Minneapolis, playground to playground, and play for 30 minutes and then go to the next one. And as we were like biking away, I'd say, "Who are you playing with?" And said, "My friends." And I'm like, "What was your friend? What was her name?" I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know any? No, but that. So is that a degree of depth of friendship? No, but there is something that's pretty is lost in adulthood, where you would say, "You are definitely my friend, and I don't know everything about you." And I think we lose that in some degree of maturity or whatever it is.
Mm.
Quick friends, being able to make quick friendship is part of community in life.
Mm.
Yeah. When I was on my sabbatical, it was especially the part where I was traveling by myself. It was a little nerve-wracking, but it was also fun to I would go play a practice round at disc golf course, and I would just make a friend.
Yeah.
And then we would go get dinner. And so a couple friendships out of that season where I don't know, it felt like the opportunity for isolation was higher than ever. But I also made friends during that season that I don't know, probably made more friends in that season than any of my regular life. And so it's an interesting, I don't know, I feel like you realize you're alone more in a season like that, so then you're more aware of opportunities for connection.
Yeah. I think, we're talking about a fall retreat, we have a United Service coming up. We can set up or do the work of having environments where people can really connect, and nobody connects. You can tee people up so that they're really ready to knock it out. We've done everything, or I'll have.
Well, just people connect so differently. I'm never gonna have a deep relationship out of just sitting across the table with somebody. It's just. But
there's a burger in between.
Food helps. Food helps. But for me, some of my funnest connections have been over the wiffle ball tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Those moments where you're pitching to somebody and you start a joke or something, or you see something, and I don't know. I find those moments way easier for me to build connection in.
Yeah. In that, though, that illustrates the fact that you have to be active in the process. There is not passivity. It does not yield connection with other people.
Well, in any relationship, it's not a relationship unless both people are participating.
Yeah, and so that's looping all the way back, is that we can have some cultural expectations that maybe we grumble about what we don't have, but yet aren't willing or don't do the work that requires to make the change.
Yeah, participation is pretty important.
And being the body of Christ, which is, each having a place that's so important, our differences are so important, seeing the needs of others and having others seeing our needs, and all that just being smashed together. For that to really, I feel like the work from, again, I don't want it to sound like it's a slam work from home, but you can say we have all of the tools to get a job done, and we're never together. I think that it really misses something from when you have a degree of empathy, compassion, understanding, proximity, so that you can really see the gaps surrounding each other, because the gap is not always that predictable.
Interesting.
So that's why we do United services, I guess.
I guess.
It is something to really celebrate, though. I think that's so cool when you. There are moments when you connect with somebody not that often, but when you see them, you pick it up like there was no gap. There's value in that. There also is connecting with somebody that you've not connected with before and taking initiative to move beyond that. And then there's even just like the fuel of like, man, we haven't seen each other in a while, and we should not let that happen again. Celebrating all of those things moving forward is pretty cool.
Rich, gotta wrap up.
We kind of did it. Come to the night service. Hang out. It'll be good.
Yeah.
So the relationship is important.
We'll be back to Peter next week.
First Peter, turning the page to end of chapter 3. It's so good.
Yeah. We'll see you there.
See you.